Good day everyone, I am Via Bickerson and today I will discuss what is the principles of learning. So what is the principle of learning? It is also known as the law of learning and it consists of 7 principles such as the readiness, exercise, effect, primacy, recency, intensity, and freedom. First, we will discuss what is readiness. So, from the word itself, which means ready, it implies the willingness and eagerness of every individual to learn. So, it was stated there that they learn best when they are physically, mentally, and emotionally ready. So, giving your students challenges that will make them grow as individual will make them learn more. So, as a teacher, how will you make your students ready to learn? First is sparking students' curiosity to learn, and next is showing the values of the subject because they do not learn well if they see no reason for learning. Next is the exercise. So the principle of exercise states that those things that are most often repeated are the ones that are best remembered, which means that the students learn best when they repeatedly hear the information or they repeatedly do certain activities, which makes the information retain longer in their mind. Especially that we humans, our mind is very forgetful. Then, as a teacher, it is also our responsibility to let that we repeat giving information to our students for them to easily recall the certain topics or the certain activities or information that is given to them. Third principle is the effect, which also means the outcome or the result of the academic performance of the students throughout the learning process. So, as a teacher, giving positive affirmation to our students will help them to become motivated as well as it boosts their confidence to do better and to participate in the class. However, giving negative comments will also affect them in different aspects. So, in this principle, we must also ensure that the learners see the evidence of their own progress and achievements. In a student-centered learning, we must let our students discover their own way of learning. The fourth principle is the principle of primacy, and it states that being first often creates a strong impression which may be very difficult to change. So our first impression about certain things create a strong impression in our mind that is sometimes very difficult to erase. And sometimes unteaching or erasing from the mind incorrect first impression is harder than teaching them correctly in the first place. So our learners, it is very important that our learners' first experience should be positive. So as a teacher, we must present a subject matter in a logical order, step by step, so the students will effectively cope up the topics or the information, and also we must make sure that the students learned in a proper way or in the right way. So the fifth principle is the recency, and it states that things most recently learned are best remembered. For example, in a class, the students were likely to remember the topics that are recently discussed compared to the topics that are discussed a week ago or a month ago. So as a teacher, we must also remember the 3 R's, which is the repeat, restate, and re-emphasize the important points for us to help our students recall or absorb the topics or the information given to them. So the other principle is the intensity, which states that the more intense the material thought, the more likely it will be retained. A sharp, clear, dramatic, or exciting learning experiences teaches more than a routine or boring experiences. The principle of intensity implies that a learner will learn more from a real thing than from a substitute. So, performing, or which means performing than just merely reading. Students learn more when they perform such activities than just imagining what is being discussed or what is in the book. So, for example, letting the students demonstrate physical activities such as exercises will help the students to increase their learning experiences. The last principle is the principle of freedom. So the principle of freedom states that things freely learned are best learned. So it implies your own discovery of learning. So in a student-centered learning process in which you let your students discover their own way of learning, it makes them become aware of themselves, their capability to do things, as well as discover their own way of learning. And with that, you will help your students grow and encourage them to do better for themselves, to improve their skills, and to seek more growth and development. And that's the end of my discussion. So for further explanation about the principles of learning, the other explanation will be discussed by my groupmate.
Good day everyone, I am Prince Keller Sikamanay and I will be continuing the report of Via Carson. So let's start. First is, learning is a process of actively constructing knowledge. So students must actively engage in discussions and active in order to construct knowledge. So therefore, the teachers and administrators have a responsibility to create environments that foster inquiry, questioning, predicting, exploring, collecting, educational play, and communicating. Engage learners in experience that encourage their personal construction of knowledge, for example, hands-on, minds on science and math, drama, creative movement, and etc. Provide learners with experience that actively involve them and personally meaningful. Number two, students construct knowledge and make it meaningful in terms of their prior knowledge and experiences. So therefore, teachers and administrators have a responsibility to create learning environments and plan exercise experiences that build on learners' prior knowledge, recognize, value, and use the great diversity of experiences and information students bring to school. Ensure that students are invited or challenged to build on prior knowledge, integrating new understanding with existing understandings. Number three, learning is enhanced when it takes place in social and collaborative environment. So students have shown that utilizing collaborative learning may lead to increased involvement and better retention of knowledge. So therefore, teachers and administrators have a responsibility to ensure that talk, group work, and collaborative ventures are central to class activities. See that learners have frequent opportunities to learn from and with others. Structure opportunities for learners to engage in diverse social interactions with peers and adults. Help students to see themselves as a member of community of learners. Number four, students need to continue to view learning as an integrated whole. So integrated learning encourages active participation in relevant real-life experiences. So therefore, teachers and administrators have responsibility to plan opportunities to help students make connections across the curriculum, and with that, the world outside, and structure activities that require students to reflect on those connections. Invite students to apply strategies from across the curriculum to solve problems in real situations. Learners must see themselves as a capable and successful. Students construct knowledge and make it meaningful in terms of their prior knowledge and experiences. So, therefore, teachers and administrators have a responsibility to provide activities, resources, and challenges that are developmentally appropriate to the learner, communicate high expectations for achievement to all students, communicate high expectations for achievement to all students, encourage risk-taking learning, ensure that all students experience genuine success on a regular basis. Value experimentation and treat approximation as side of growth, provide frequent opportunities for students to reflect on the describe what they know and can do, provide learning experiences and resources that reflect the diversity of the local and global community, provide learning opportunities that develop self-esteem. 6 is the learners have different ways of knowing and representing knowledge. So therefore, teachers and administrators have a responsibility to recognize each learner's preferred ways of constructing meaning and provide opportunities to exploring alternative ways. Plan a wide variety of open-ended experiences and assessment strategies. Recognize, acknowledge, and build on students' diverse way of knowing and representing their knowledge. Structure frequent opportunities for students to use various forms, music, drama, visual arts, dance, movement, crafts as a means of exploring, formulating, and expressing ideas. Lastly is number 7, reflection is an integral part of learning. Reflection is an integral part of learning process. It allows us to learn more about ourselves and how we learn, but it also aids us in improving academic skills. So, therefore, teachers and administrators have a responsibility to challenge their beliefs and practices based on continuous reflection, reflect on their own learning process and experience, encourage students to reflect on their learning process and experiences, help students use their reflections to understand themselves as learners, make connections with other learnings, and process with learning. And that's all. Thank you.